Welcome to Q&A, Questions Need Answers. I'm your host, James Munch II. Most people just know me as Munch. We welcome you to the space for honest conversation, community dialogue, and, get y'all to think critically. This is a show where we talk community, culture, and politics. And today, I have none other than our state rep, Miss Ashley Gantt.
Hi.
How you doing?
That's a loaded question these days, but I'm good.
You sure?
No, I could use like 10 more hours of sleep. I need a buffer day.
Okay.
Between the weekend and Monday.
So, other than being a state rep, I understand that you were a teacher.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through that journey from of course, coming up, because you're from Liberty City too?
I'm from Miami.
Okay.
Yes, I'm from Miami. I didn't necessarily live in Liberty City before, but West Little River.
West Little River. Oh, you in my
Miami
area.
Shores, and my auntie now lived in Brown Stubb. So
Okay.
my auntie lived in Opelika. My other auntie lived in Carroll City. So
You just moved around.
yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. I grew up in West Little River, unincorporated
Okay,
Miami-Dade,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we just shifted around. You different programs. You had to go over here, go over there.
Yeah, so when you growing up, especially growing up in the 90s,
Yeah.
you at your auntie them house, you at
Yeah.
your grandma them house,
Yeah.
you at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider all of these areas where I grew up.
Okay, dope. So yeah, like I said, just walk us through that journey of going into education. Was that your major?
No, so my major in college was English.
Okay.
And my 7th grade teacher at Horseman, because I went to Horseman, she let us have teacher of the day, right?
Okay.
So it was my English teacher. And I was a teacher for a day, and she was like, oh my God, you would be a great teacher. And my response to her was like, child, I want to be a lawyer, but thank you anyway. So when I got to UF, I was studying for the LSAT. It was my senior year. I was the Black Student Union vice president. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to law school, this and this. And I keep getting these emails from Teach for America. And they were like, just come to an info session. Just come to an info session. So I went to an info session, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's only 2 years. Law school isn't going anywhere. I'm going to try it. And what you'll realize about me is my life is all about, well, let's try it and see.
Okay.
And so I went to an info session, and then they had one of my classmates that graduated a year before call me because she was in Teach for America in Philly. She was like, you got to do it. It's so great.
Oh, they knew how to set you up.
They set me up. I drank the juice immediately. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I could go to Dallas or California or whatever. And I applied, and I went through the 3 rounds, and little did I know that if you put the Mississippi Delta on anywhere other than the last choice, because we had 3 tiers, first choice, second choice, absolutely no. So I put Miami on absolutely no, but I happened to put Mississippi as the last choice in my first category, and I went to the Mississippi Delta. So
Wow.
I was in Mississippi for 2 years in rural America, where the county that I taught in didn't even have a stoplight.
So you know what's so wild about that? Because I don't know if you've seen the episode with Isaiah Zabo, one of our co-owners here at the shop.
Yeah.
He actually put that he wanted to teach for America in Mississippi Delta.
Yeah.
He really wanted to go to the Mississippi Delta.
It's amazing. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I met some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, and it was kind of surreal because I was in the country.
Yeah.
And so 30 minutes either way, and then 45 minutes south, that's where I went to get to civilization. So
Yeah.
to get to the grocery stores, to get to anywhere, it was 30 minutes, and I would drive through cotton fields.
Wow.
And what's it called? The little soybean fields.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of it was cotton fields. And that's where I touched cotton for the first time. And it was driving there at night, and the stars were big and beautiful in the sky, but it was just pitch black.
Yeah.
And the mosquitoes was like this big.
Yeah.
They'll be knocking up against you before they start biting you.
Yeah.
It was surreal. And I went to Memphis a lot because Memphis was the largest city that was closest to me. It was an hour north.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great experience, though. Then I came back home.
Then you came. Well, what made you come back home?
So my mama was like, okay, thank you. You can come back home now, because I'm her only girl. And the closest family member to me was my brother, and he was in Tallahassee. So that was 8 hours away from where I was living.
Did you get homesick?
No. The first semester of teaching was just hard. It was just hard teaching. But I was at UF, so it wasn't like I was homesick, but I was just like, what am I doing with myself? Like, this teaching is ghetto. Like, the first year of teaching is just tough. The first year of anything is tough.
Yes.
So I came back home, and I actually taught at my high school, Carroll City High, and I taught at Alapata Middle School before I went to law school. So I taught at those two schools before going on.
Your journey is similar to a friend of mine. I think you know her.
Cool.
She's another lawyer.
Nakia?
No, Aisha. McKinney.
Aisha? Yeah, I went to high school with her.
Yeah. So I didn't know if we was in the same time. I figured you was like maybe like a year older than me or something, but I don't know.
I'm 41.
So you probably was a senior when we was freshmen.
Yeah, Aisha. So Aisha was a diamond dancer.
Yes.
So when I was going out, she was coming in. I was a diamond dancer too.
Yeah, that's my girl, man.
Yeah.
Evolutionary Ventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evolutionary Law Group. You know.
Shout out to Aisha.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like she does. I told her even like from a young age, she said she was going to be a lawyer, and like just sitting here talking to you, it was like. As soon as you said, no, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm not going to be and both of y'all went into English.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I was like, whoa, maybe. And then
and
you
she's
said,
such a good person.
Yeah. Always.
Her brother is my year.
Yeah, exactly. And then y'all always talk, like y'all always are both educating folks. Instead of, like, just straight up, you need to do this, like, I've always, especially when I see you speaking, you always educating. So I figured, that's a good thing. And so, from there, like you were in the Mississippi Delta, you come to Miami. Were you like then? Did you go to? I mean, did you finish out? How did you finish law school there, or did you?
Oh no, I started law school. So I actually started law school when I was teaching. Crazy person. So I started in Nova's part-time program, but it's actually not part-time. It's evening. Excuse me. I started in Nova's evening program. So my days, my last year of teaching and my first year of law school was wake up at 6 a.m. because Nova was in Broward, so I moved to Broward to be closer to the law school. Wake up at 6 a.m., get to work, teach until Alapata Middle.
Alapata Middle, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
which is now Georgia Jones
Ayers. Yeah. So I would get to work. I would leave work no later than like 4:35. Drive up to Broward, go to class. So class at Nova started around 6:30. Class was from 6:30. Well, 6. It was from 6 to 10:30. Be in class. I'll go get something to eat, or I'll eat dinner at like 10:45, and then I would start studying at like 11:30, and I would stay there from 11:30 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Then I would go at home. So that was my Monday through Thursday schedule for my first year.
And that traffic was a mess.
The traffic was a mess, and I was exhausted.
Yeah, after dealing with middle school kids.
Oh, middle school.
How did you do it?
I have no idea. Huh? I listen. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. I was like, these kids are aliens, but I was I'm really like chill. I'm very goofy, ask my friends. But I had to be like the disciplinarian when I was in the middle school, and it was just so outside of my regular personality. Like, I know how to set boundaries and tell people what I need to tell them, but middle school is just, they don't know if they want to be babies, they don't know if they want to be big girls.
That's that period where they growing, they figuring out
things. Hormones everywhere.
Yeah, hormones everywhere.
They be musty.
Yeah.
You gotta teach them how to bring some extra deodorant.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, trust me. I always tell that to folks. We got a lot of programs for elementary school kids, the early childhood, elementary. We got a lot of programs for high school kids that, maybe at risk or whatever it is.
But middle schools,
there's nothing. There's almost nothing.
I will say programs like Girl Power specifically work with middle school girls.
Yeah.
So and I love Girl Power. Shout out to Miss Thema.
Yeah, I always say it because the boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we only had, back then it was 500 role models.
Yeah.
But we, I ain't gonna talk ill on the.
It's 5,000 now.
It's 5,000. We did it to get out of class. But I had a good. But shout out to Coach Duncanson. He passed away. I was at Norland.
Oh, okay.
And he was a good advisor for us. You know what I'm saying? Always kept us in line.
Good.
You know what I mean? Outside of that was a good role model for us. So moving forward, what subject? It was English?
Yeah.
It was
English and history. So when I came back from, and if the microphone picked up, my stomach was growling.
It is what it is. We gonna edit it out. We got you.
So I came back home with my history certification from Mississippi. So I got my professional certification in history when I came back home. So initially I was teaching history. And I was like, good, it's not a tested subject. I could just be free. Because my minor in college was history. And then they were like, oh, you're an English major. Go ahead and take the English exam. Of course, I got certified in English, so then I started teaching English. So I was teaching English at Carroll City. It was a trap, okay? Yeah. I was teaching 10th grade English, which is the testing to pass to get to graduate.
Yeah. 10th grade. So then you went to high school.
No, I started high school.
Oh.
So I stopped teaching when I was teaching middle school.
Okay. So what high school you taught at?
Carroll City.
Carroll City. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You did say that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to follow.
And I was my old dance coach.
Oh, that's.
Well, let me say that. I was a dance coach to my old team.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just
Diamond
said.
Dancers.
Diamond Dancers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I paid it forward. You know.
So what made you get into like public service? Like I heard you say Black Student Union, but like sometimes we do those. A lot of people take those roles to, get scholarships or do whatever in the school to get a little bit, get the internships or whatnot. But I feel like sometimes they got to be in you. It can't be on you. You know what I mean?
I would like literally in high school, I would volunteer to go do homework at Myrtle Grove Elementary. I used to walk down there. And then when I joined the band and became a dancer, like we had different, community service that we did. But I just always loved it. I genuinely enjoy it. And I said I never wanted to be in politics, actually. I was like, nah, I'm good. So when I became a lawyer, so I went to law school, then I became a public defender in Broward.
Okay.
My very first courtroom, my judge is like, we get into, like, as a PD, you get assigned to a courtroom. So all the cases that come in there, they're yours, period. So I'm in misdemeanor. I'm talking to the state, talking to the judge. And, like, when there's a lull in the activity, so we're waiting on some people to come, we just start talking. And at that time, Game of Thrones was on. So I'm a nerd. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I love dragons. I love all of it. Listen, Octavia Butler. So I grew up watching Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Twilight Zone, the Sci-Fi Channel, everything. So I love fantasy and sci-fi. So we were talking about Game of Thrones, and then my judge, he just randomly was like, "You should run for office." I said, "No, thank you, Judge." And he was like, "No." I was like, "I have so many opinions, and I don't know how to temper my mouth." And he was like, "That's exactly why you need it. You should run for state rep." I said, "No, thank you, Judge." I get promoted to felony. Now, in felony, when we have mental health cases, we keep our cases. In misdemeanor, they went to a specific courtroom, so we always transfer those cases. So I go to the mental health courtroom, and I'm meeting the judge, and as I continuously come in, I'm building a rapport with the judge. And the judge tells me one day, "You should run for office. You should run for state representative." I say, "Excuse me." So my first judge was Judge Gottlieb. My second judge was Judge Porth. So I say, "Excuse me, are you and Judge Gottlieb talking?" He was like, "No, but did he say that?" I was like, "Yes, he did." He was like, "Then you should do it." I said, "No, thank you." I was like, "Absolutely not." So couldn't find out both of them are former state representatives in Broward.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, "You would be so great, blah, blah, blah." No, thank you. For years, I kept saying, no. People would tell me this. People would tell me that. Then I met Dwight Bullard. People was like, "You should meet Senator Bullard." I met Dwight Bullard. So I was like, "Yeah, you should do it." I said, "This seed you think you planted is going to die in the ground. It's never going to sprout anything." That was a year before I called him and was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to run." And he was like, "Bet." I called Dwight, and not even 3 hours after we get off the phone, I got multiple emails coming in introducing me to people. I have text threads. He's like, "We're going to make this happen." And I was like, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah.
A week later, I'm on Zoom calls, meeting people and doing this and doing that. Little did I know, people were interested in to see who was going to actually challenge my former opponent. And then I happened to say it was me. And then after that, it was just like, "Oh, we've been waiting for somebody from the community to run." And I'm like, oh man, what did I get myself into for real?
Yeah, because in that particular situation, like, he had, always ran. And, how did I say this? When I was younger, cause the older you get, the more you pay attention to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like these certain people were the guys I grew up like. If there's an issue in my community, these are the people that respond. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so anytime there was an issue in our community, you always saw them. You always saw them in Winn-Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Still to this day. You know what I'm saying? So I always was, and so when you came on the scene, it was like, well, who is this? Like, we don't know her. We ain't seen her around. Who was this?
So I've been very active and involved in bar associations and like doing community service through them.
Yeah.
And like loving my anonymity. Like
Yeah.
I'm a private citizen. I'm cool. I don't have to be seen.
Yeah,
you ain't gotta announce my name. I'm good. Like
Yeah.
that is how, and that's been one of the hardest things to break away from being in this position. Cause
Yeah.
I'll come in the room and I'll sit in the back.
Yeah.
You've seen me do that before.
Yeah, I've seen you do that plenty of times.
And they'll be like, no, come to the
This is
front.
right.
I'm like,
Or they call you out, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm like, I can just be present. I can observe. If I have to say something, I'm not afraid of saying something. But, you know, when I announced, people were just like, who is this?
Yeah.
And then people started saying like, oh, she was doing this and she was doing that. And I was like, oh. And it's crazy because my former opponent always said I was recruited. You know how I ran?
Was a rumor. Yeah, that was a rumor.
I was on Instagram, and this is how it happened. And I'm scrolling. I follow the Miami Times on my page. I see an article from the Miami Times that he voted for the 15-week abortion ban. I said, I know you lying.
Yeah.
And then
he was like, I gotta go.
No, I posted it on my story, and I was like, I can't believe, like, I'm talking trash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, hold on, let me step back. Is this man representing me? Am I in his district? So I Googled it, and I'm in his district.
Yeah.
And I already knew this, but I did that as an exercise to confirm. And I was like, oh my God. Then I looked it up, and he was unopposed in 2020, so he just got elected. Nobody opposed him. It was 2022. And I'm like, if I'm going to just complain on social media, I might as well take it down.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so that's when I called Dwight.
Yeah.
And that's how it all happened. Nobody recruited me. I had 2 judges for years telling me to run.
Yeah, and you still ain't want.
And I said no. Dwight told me a year before, and I said absolutely not. It wasn't about being recruited. I would not be recruited to do this, okay?
Yeah.
At all.
Well, you said you're the let's try it person.
Listen, exactly. I was like, you know, and it was 6 months before the election, but I was like, you could say you ain't know me. You could say, where did I come from? You could say whatever you want to say, but I'm going to work. And he refused to debate. He refused to show up where I was. And I was truthful about his track record. I looked up. So before I announced, before I did anything, I was like, who is this man and his voting record? I looked up all of his votes when it came to women maintaining our bodily autonomy, and he has voted against us every single time. So that wasn't the first time. It was just the last time in a string of votes that he's taken. So he's never thought that I should be able to control my body.
Yeah.
He's always thought that he has more authority, say-so, or intelligence about how I should govern my body than I do.
Well,
And I was like, nah.
yeah. So enough about him, because this interview.
Well, that's how I got here.
Yeah,
That's how I got here.
But that's how you got here. So, you know, and that's it. That's the way I think. You know, a lot of folks, well, some folks, but they don't necessarily get elected. So it was just like interesting to see you. You know, you've been in the seat now, and could you talk about like some of the priorities you had, like maybe that first year?
So, the first year was the most difficult because you have to figure out going up there back and forth. You have to figure out the personality dynamics of not just the Republicans, but your own caucus. You have to figure out, you know, what the process is with filing bills for real. And typically there's a warm transfer, but I didn't have that. So I had to I shout out to Cynthia Stafford. She was amazing. Like I could call
that's my
her.
girl right there.
Yes, oh my God. And she was a rep. So she served in this seat. So she was like, whatever you need, whatever questions. I asked her. I asked veteran members in the legislature, and I had to figure it out. So my priorities was affordability. So the bills that I always file is like real policy that I believe in. So I filed a bill like to cap rental increases for seniors on fixed income. And I pitched it to the speaker. So you have this whole process.
Yeah, I was about to say, run us through the process.
Okay, so
because you had to learn that process.
I had to learn everything.
Yeah.
So you have to have ideas before you go in, because you have 2 bills that you have to file immediate. We have a deadline, or you forfeit those.
Yeah.
Every House member only has 7 bills.
Okay.
So you have to file it in the House, and you have to get a senator to agree to file it in the Senate. So I'm like, okay, I have all these big ideas. How do I make them small? How do I take all these ideas to 7? And so you put your bills in the bill drafting, and then bill drafting is a whole department. You tell them your ideas, you reference like a statute or whatever if it relates to something else, and then they send it back to you. So when they send it back to you, you have to read it, see if it says what you are intending for it to say. You do edits, you send it back. So it goes back and forth. And then you also know that during the process, you will amend it or can amend it while, if it gets a hearing and so on and so forth. So you file your 2 bills at first, and then the rest of the 5 bills are due when session starts. So you're going back and forth during committee. You have to get a meeting with the speaker. So you have to lobby your bills.
Yeah.
You get a meeting with the speaker. So as a freshman, my first term or my first session, I was going around meeting my chairs. I was meeting who's in leadership so that I know who are these people that my bills could potentially be in front of, and how do I get to like get a feel of them? Who are they? It's funny because a lot of Republicans was like, I'm not supposed to like you. You beat our guy, James Bush. And I was just like, okay, here's my bill. Like, can you tell me about can you like give me some pointers? And what I learned was that asking a lot of them in leadership, what kind of advice do you have, is a good thing, because it's like, oh, this person is willing to, even though they're Republicans, right? Oh, well, some stuff is really good.
Yeah.
Some stuff you just listen and you just hear it, and you allow them to get it out. A lot of it, actually.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about that, like that process, like that was interesting, because that's somewhat of a similar approach that I have. Like, instead of going at our representatives, it's like, all right, let me understand what you're dealing with on your end. You know, I think I've hit you multiple times. Be like, yo, what's this about? You know what I mean? And so talk about that process of like with going across the aisle and talking with them. So
there's no instance where you're not talking to colleagues from the other side of the aisle. Like, there's just not.
Is it like extremely polarized, or is it like you really?
With some people it is.
Yeah.
And it enrages me. It makes me so mad, because some of them, they know that is wrong. They'll be like, oh, I agree with you. They'll tell you this on the side, but you still have to get votes. You know what I'm saying? So how it works, the process, you go to the speaker, and the speaker and his leadership kind of already know like whose bills they're not going to move from the Democratic Party or whatever. So I'm like, okay, work it. And then sometimes they ask for little, exchanges, and they know who to ask from those exchanges to. I wasn't one of them people that was like, oh, if you do this, or you vote for this. Like, because some of the stuff that you will see that they'll ask a Democrat to vote on is actually very detrimental. Yeah. But they need it to be bipartisan. Yeah. And so it depends on who you are, right? Yeah. So you go to the speaker, you present your bills, you talk about what they are, and the speaker will say, oh, I like this or I like that. So that's what happened with my first session. I had a lactation bill. So as a woman attorney, every single year it always came about where multiple instances of lawyers going back to work after maternity leave, like having to pump and dump their milk in the bathroom, or people from the public not having a place to feed or whatever and having to go to the bathroom. Like, I don't eat in the bathroom. In the courthouse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, in the courthouse.
Yes. And so my bill was to address that, to make lactation spaces in all the courthouses. So certain courthouses in certain counties already had them, but my bill made it a requirement across the state. So that was an issue that the speaker was like, okay, and you also have to take in the dynamics and the roles of Republicans don't necessarily want Democrats to have wins like that, right? And so with that bill, that was safe enough for the speaker at that time to support. Because they also don't want to be accused of being a rhino and supporting Democratic policies and all of this other stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different aspects that you have to, take into consideration. Correct. So that bill went through, and another bill which provided a claims bill for Leonard Cure went through, and that's a very interesting story that and tragedy.
Yeah, explain that for me because I'm not aware.
With claims bills can be if somebody was wrongfully incarcerated, and they can have a sponsor in the Senate and the House petition the legislature to approve a cap over the mandatory amount that a government can pay for any instance. That happens with personal injury cases. If a jury awarded them $2 million, but the cap is $250,000, for example, then the governmental entity can only pay $250,000, but a claims bill asks for that gap to be paid, and it has to be authorized by the legislature. So Leonard Cure was wrongfully incarcerated in Broward, and the bill was sponsored by Mike Gottlieb and I. Now, let me tell you why it's interesting. In 2020, I was the president of the Black Bar Association in Broward, TJ Reddick Bar. And I was able to be on the conviction review unit that Mike Satz, the old state attorney, had just started. So he was like, Ashley, I really want you to be on it, blah, blah, blah. The case that we were reviewing was Leonard Cure's case. So we got all the evidence, we got all the stuff, and we were just like, how did this happen?
Because a lot of this stuff wasn't adding up.
Nothing was adding up. Nothing, okay? And so by unanimous vote, the conviction review unit says we are going to overturn the conviction. The state attorney signed off on it. A judge dismissed it. He was released from prison. Now, for compensation, there's still that cap. So Mike filed the bill. I was his prime sponsor, and we asked the legislature to compensate him. Now, what's interesting is, what I didn't know, so when the press release comes out, I sent it to my mama because I didn't even tell my mama that I was on a conviction review unit because I was just like, I didn't really tell anybody because I was like, I don't know what is the level of information I can divulge, so I just didn't say anything till it was done. My mom calls me like screaming. She was like, oh my God, that's Lenny. I said, Mama, you don't see my name in the article? What are you talking about? What you mean Lenny? Leonard Cure was the little brother to my mom's childhood best friend, Miss Tina.
Wow.
So I was on the case that exonerated him. I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea. And he was released from prison on my birthday. And I got to meet him. We went out to eat and everything. And it was just like, how, like, when I was in the legislature voting on that bill, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the place where I'm supposed to be. Because what are the odds?
Yeah.
And what are the odds that
you saw
there's
it
this,
all the way through?
Correct. And that there's this close family tie that I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So that was the
Would
other
you say
bill.
that you kind of like planted your feet, was like, okay, I'm here now?
Yeah, I did. So that was all my very first session. And I was like, okay, like, I still would be questioning myself, like, what am I doing? Because it's not easy. It's hard. It's emotional. You're away from your family a lot. People, the scrutiny. People scrutinize
Everything.
From telling me what I should wear, telling me how my hair should look, telling me what lipstick looks good and what doesn't look good
being
on me.
Being on your phone in session.
Yeah, being
looking,
on my phone.
Looking uninterested.
Right. Telling me that I shouldn't say ain't or I should speak a certain way. Everything. And it's like, these strangers, y'all want to pay my bills? Because y'all acting like y'all all up in my business. And it's just like, that's part of the reason why I never wanted to run. I wanted to stay a private citizen so that I wouldn't be subjected to this public scrutiny. And the first year was super hard reading comments and stuff. So I just stopped reading comments. Like I had to stop because people would I would be sitting there reading bills for 5 hours to prep for this hearing. And then people would tell me, oh, you could have did more. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that note, have you been to therapy or anything like that?
Absolutely.
I was going to ask because when you say that was another thing. Like, you know, I guess we put y'all on a pedestal is the right thing to say. Mm-hmm. And we don't humanize our representatives enough.
Correct.
You know, we realize like they're human beings just like us. They feel just like us. And when we say certain things, we don't take into account like y'all are fighting on behalf, and this goes for everybody. Y'all are fighting whether good, bad, or indifferent. Y'all are really trying to fight on our behalf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're like not mindful of that. We put y'all on the pedestal. We think y'all are
we're not
like
invincible.
A demigod, like right under. You know what I'm saying?
I try to say this, and people are like, no, actually, no, you're not. I'm like, I'm just a person.
Yeah.
Like after my first session, I came home and I cried myself to sleep. I don't know how long I was crying. I know I was crying for at least an hour. Like, I mean, straight crying. And I just woke up the next day because I cried myself to exhaustion. Because it was so, like, I came home and I felt the release from all the stress. And it's nuts. But I am in therapy. So I was in therapy before I ran, and then I transitioned out of therapy because my therapist was like, girl, you got some good tools, you know, I don't want you to become dependent, good. Then I started this political life, so I started therapy again this year because I am filled with rage all the time.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It seems to be like helping because I think like maybe like, I want to say like midway through last year, it seemed like you were more like, I'm gonna be me. Like y'all gonna have to deal with it.
Correct.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I was over it because damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Honestly. And so I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna be me. If it's not the conventional elected official, that's fine. Like, this doesn't define me. This isn't who I am. It's something that I do. Mm-hmm. And I had exhausted myself from trying to be everywhere, from trying to respond to everything, from trying to like, and I'm not a people pleaser.
Yeah.
But, you know, when people are like, oh, we don't see you, I've been in Tallahassee.
Yeah. From
January 2025 to June 2026, I was home for a consecutive of 90 days. And that was July, August, and September. You know what I was doing then? I was catching up on my cases. I had 3 trials set, 2 went. I had multiple court hearings. I had to actually spend time with family. And then I was making appearances across the district so that people know that, hey, I'm back for this little bit. I'm going back to Tallahassee, though. And now I'm home for a longer stretch than I have been since January 2025. And I got elected in November 2024. Mm-hmm. So, like, understanding that I'm not a local elected, mm-hmm. you're not going to see me at everything. Because 9 times out of 10, I work as a representative in a part-time legislature. I also have a business.
I was just going to say, like, tell them, like,
I'm a
how's that
owner.
Work-life balance of, like, and how do you, like, I want to say how do you do it, but, because I know there's some, like, legal ramifications of that. Like, how does that work with you being a state rep and you having your own practice?
So, there's no balance at all. There's different flows.
Yeah.
Mondays, I do all law work. Like, I don't allow any campaign stuff to be scheduled at all. Like, like, since I've come back and now, you know, I'm campaigning, blah, 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 it's all law work. So I have to make very clear boundaries. It's hard because judges don't care if somebody has a ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't care. You got to be in court
Your
on time.
clients
Don't care.
do not care.
They like.
They love it.
Yeah,
but they don't care.
Get me up out of here.
Correct. And it's a part-time legislature. I make less than $30,000 before taxes. with the legislature. So if you think of you working a part-time job, think of how many hours that really is in a month. And then think of what the community is actually asking of you. Yeah. And my district is very needy. That's not a disparaging comment, it's just a description. Like, some reps don't get a lot of or any constituent calls at all. But I do. And that does make me feel good because my constituents believe that I can give them answers and I can help them. So there's no balance. I have to tell people I had to work. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Or I send my staff. And, you know, my office is represented, but I am still actively practicing. Yeah. And when you're gone, I was gone for 6 months, really out of my practice, and could only work so much. I have to head down, lock in, like, you know what I mean? And so, listen, caffeine is my best friend.
Don't do it too much. Listen,
I'm going to, what is it called? Wean myself off and detox from caffeine after the campaign is over. But right now, it's a great friend. Yes. And then I work out. Like, I have to work out. Like, that helps I get anxiety.
Keep you sane. Yeah.
It helps with the anxiety. Like, I get anxiety. I'm like, okay. And then I get it, and then I just stop, and I'm like, I can't do anything. And that's not productive. So, you know. And then I go to therapy, and I be telling my therapist, I'm like, girl, you got your day cut out for you today. Because let me tell you. And then I start talking, and she's just like, so how have you taken time for yourself? I'm like, I feel like I can't.
Yeah.
And so then we got to go through that. Like,
yeah, they got to work you through it. So you got to take time. Lately I've been seeing you take time, more time than usual.
Yeah, I have, because last year in the fall, I couldn't get up out my bed.
Depression? Anxiety that bad?
No, I was exhausted that time. Yeah. Like, my body shut down. And when I was driving, I almost fainted because I was so tired. I got home and I could not get out of my bed for like 2 days. Like, that's crazy. So I was like, okay. So, I mean, but it's still very, like, my personality is like, but I got to do this because I gave my word for this. And, you know, so my therapist is helping with that.
That's a good thing. I'm glad to hear that. As a person who, I go to therapy every Monday. I missed out today because I had to move around the city. But I'm typically every Monday.
Yeah, listen,
I gotta do it. You know,
it's needed.
So I guess we could shift gears to this new race, right? Senate. Why the transition from state rep to senator? And I'm trying to find a nice way to put it other than to say, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter that you moving from, like, you know what I'm saying? Why does it matter that you're moving from state rep to Senate? Like, even though I know they're two different.
Yeah, that is actually a great way to put it, or a great question. So, I've been working with Chev since I got elected because he's my senator for majority of my Senate seat. I mean, my House seat. I actually have 3 different senators. What does that mean? So, I have 3 different senators for my House seat.
Okay.
So Chev represents majority of my district, probably like 80% of my district, 85%.
Okay.
Then I have 2 Republicans.
Okay.
1 Republican, he represents like Brown Sub area. So on the west side of 27, where Brown Sub is, going toward 37.
Is that toward like Hialeah?
Yeah.
And all that? Okay.
That's a Republican senator who, by the way, has never, ever followed through with a meeting with me. Because I'm like, you know, you represent black people, right? Okay. Anyway, and then the other one was Senator Garcia, and she represents the rest of Allapattah and Overtown and downtown.
Okay.
So my district, my state district, my House district, goes from downtown. It wraps around historic Overtown, Allapattah, Liberty City, Brown Sub, all the way up to the entire city of Opelika.
Okay.
So I have right in the middle of the county. And what does it mean? It means that he was showing me how the process works on the Senate side while I was learning it on the House side. He was guiding me through it. He was, suggesting, Chev is one of the few people that could pull my coattail and say, sit down. I'm working this out. Hold on. Don't go at that throats right now. And then he'll get it worked out. And so we talked last year because people were asking me, well, what's next? I was like, I want to run for Senate. So we thought.
I thought you was out of here. I thought you were going to say, hey, the hell with this.
Listen, okay? That's what I was saying. I was like, you know what?
That's what you told me.
We were supposed to term out in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, in 4 years, I'll have enough time to like really see, like, you know, go on the other side of his district that's not in my district. But it happened now. And why it matters is continuity and representation. Like, I know who the people are. I know what the issues have been that I've been aware of, especially for my state house district. And because I've been able to earn respect from all parties involved, I can legitimately go to the Senate and build on the work that Chef has done, because he has been very effective. Mm-hmm. And that is an objective characterization of what he's done. And so that's why I'm moving. But what's more important is the fact that I have a successor designated for my seat. Mm-hmm. So I would have never ran for Senate. I would have stayed in my House seat if I didn't have someone that I've worked with and trust. And I worked with Mayor John Taylor. And
I was mad about that too. But when you put it that way, it makes sense. So go ahead.
Yeah, like for the last 4 years, Opa-locka has been coming up back and forth to Tallahassee to deal with specific issues for Opa-locka. But also, he's taken time to talk with me about it. He would be like clued in and locked in on what we were doing up there. He would be asking me questions while we're doing it, or he'll say, hey, I saw this or whatever. So he's been super engaged for the purpose of being an informed mayor. And so when all the shifting was happening with people talking about Congresswoman Wilson leaving and all this stuff, he called me. Mm-hmm. And when he called me, I was like, thank God, hallelujah, yes. I was like, absolutely. Because one, he's been a person of his word. Mm-hmm. If I've asked him something straight up, like, I need to know this. I need to know. He said, all right. Like, he's been straight up. His yeses are his yeses and his no's have been his no's with me. And so that's something that I value in this political space.
Yeah.
You ain't got a lot of me.
Yeah.
You don't wake up next to me and I don't pay your bills. You ain't got a lot of me. And so he has been a man that I could trust and somebody that I know, like, okay, you're already asking about the process.
Yeah.
Whether or not he was interested or not, for future plans. If he was, great. That means it just happened sooner. So, you know, it's been really good working with him during the campaign, giving him, like, this is what you need to do. And he's like, oh, my God, like, this is way different than local elections. This is way different. And just cluing him into, like, what it's like with dealing with the competing interests with lobbyists, dealing with making sure that your constituents are informed and they know what is what, and also dispelling misinformation.
Yeah,
like our community, like I want to do a civic series. This is who handles this. If this is your issue, this person handles this. I get calls in my office for everybody. Mm-hmm. Municipal, county, and federal. I'm like, oh, that's and I've had the pleasure of working well with all of my partners. Mm-hmm. Like, it hasn't been one elected that we overlap, except for Brian Avila. I take that back. I've never been able to get on the phone, but his staff, amazing. Him, I don't know, because I've never met with him.
Yeah.
So
that's why you
that's why
switched
it's important.
Over to Senate. But that makes sense. And you know, when a person like me, I'm outside looking in, and I'm like, I see all this, like a better going on, the circus, and I'm like, what the? Like, I hated it, and the main reason I hated it was because one person moved, and it seemed like all the dominoes, like chess pieces, start moving on the board, and I was like a person like John Taylor, and I'm like, bro, with Opa-locka being in such a sensitive situation, delicate situation that it's in, it's like we need somebody there, and it you know. That be my concern.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or like Dr. Gallen. Mm-hmm. Dr. Gallen leaving the school board. And I'm like, who in the world? And I think for me, it's like maintaining a certain standard.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Rather than like the person themselves, it's like we don't expect you to be him, but
Right.
it's like you have to maintain that standard because who else is going to hold the line?
I think that's a fair point, and that's what I was saying. And I can't remember who I was talking to, but they was like, but you know what else this shows? That we have a deep bench in Black politics. We have a deep bench of potential people and of leaders or potential leaders at the very least to be able to significantly create succession plans that go 10, 20, 30 years out. And that doesn't necessarily mean, just because somebody is the chosen person that they are the one that has to do it. But understanding that if that person does not fulfill their word to themselves, their word to the community, there is someone else just as capable to be there. And when I thought about it like that and I reframed it, I was like, that's true. That's very true. But in that also includes older people
should have been gone.
Mentoring so that they could step out and be gone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because
that's my biggest, that was my biggest problem with this. It's like, I'm trying to be nice because I'm trying to be respectful. I say that. You missed 40 votes.
So, okay.
You get what I'm saying? And it's like, and I respect your time. I respect everything you did. I'm not opposed to that. And I know health issues or whatever issues, things may come up, but my thing has always been, it's not totally hurting us because this administration is this administration.
Correct.
But it's not helping us either.
So I hear that, right? And I think that in Miami, in general, this is evident that succession plans and really mentoring people is necessary.
Yeah.
Like in my race.
Yeah.
I am supported by Senator Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's endorsed me. And that level of handoff with a person that has the experience that is needed for that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But on one hand, it's like we saw how much stability her being in that position really did keep in Miami Black politics.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said I don't want to take nothing away from what she did.
And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, now what lessons do we learn from this to have a succession plan?
Yeah.
How are we looking at the kids that are in high school and middle school and saying, okay, this is what this is like, and exposing all of them and not just like a selected
cream
few.
Of the crop.
Correct. Because you never know like who is really going to be that one that makes those impacts. Like when I got in there, I disrupted the structure.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Because like to your point, who is this girl?
20, 30 years, people was in office. Like, and I don't agree with that. I think like if you did everything you said you was going to do and you were successful at it, teach somebody else.
Correct. Go home.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
go home. Enjoy retirement.
Yeah, like, and I don't want us to be in situations like, you know, these other folks passing away on the other side that they dying in the seat.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been a detriment. And I think it keeps everybody fresh, right? It keeps everybody accountable when there's a rotating door. And like you say, you know, you don't think about the deep bench, but is the deep bench because we've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for 20 years.
I mean,
like,
that could be it too.
Like,
but at the same time, we still have it.
Yeah.
Imagine if we didn't.
Yeah.
Imagine if we didn't. And
when you said it, I thought about that. I was like, you know, I got to change my mindset.
Yeah, like imagine if we didn't. And that also lets me know, like with this redistricting that's going on, the Black vote is still very powerful in whatever party and whatever area. The Black vote, if we look at it like this.
I'm glad you're going to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, if we look at it like this, right? If they dilute the vote,
Meaning
it's
cracking the
cracking
district.
and splitting it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because redistricting is going to come again for the state house and the state senate seat.
Yeah.
Just know that.
Yeah. They do it every so often, right?
Yeah, every decade it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but they
With
did
the
it.
census data.
What was so for me, the first time I heard of this was it was the I-4 corridor that they split up.
Yeah.
I forget the lady's name. Was it Corinne Brown?
Yes.
It was her seat that they did that too.
Mm-hmm.
They split up her district.
And with Al Lawson's seat in North Florida.
Okay.
So the black vote is still a very powerful vote, even if it's not the majority of that district, because it is still a swing vote, because black voters are still very reliable voters and not I think we are apathetic with what we need to be doing or what we could be, but the black vote is still very powerful. And so if we looked at it like that, we could have any politician of any party making sure that they, one, deliver on things for our community. Two, they have to come to our community, like all roads lead through us, even if it's not a majority black district, because our vote is reliably consistent. And that's what we have to start thinking about. But when we saw, so just to give a short little civics lesson, so redistricting happens according to the Florida Constitution every decade with the census data, okay? That's why in 2020 it happened, and then in 2022 the maps went into effect, okay? And then we're going to see that in 2030 and then 2032 it'll be in effect for the state house and the state senate. For the congressional maps, we had illegal redistricting this year. It was mid-decade redistricting, and it was based on the same data from the 2020 census. That, in the Black Lives Matter case, that Al Lawson's seat in North Florida, the governor argued that the 2020 data was actually not correct. However, in this new map that they did in April, they said they used the same 2020 data that they were saying was incorrect in that first lawsuit. It's them talking out both sides of their neck to justify their illegal actions. The Constitution is very clear. Nobody in the House or nobody in the Senate actually worked on that map. Nobody did. And the maps are actually stated in the Constitution. It is the job of the legislature.
And none of y'all had nothing to do with none of them.
That's what happens when it's a supermajority and Republicans have the supermajority. So what we have to do is we have to look at seats that can break that supermajority so that there can actually be democracy. Because right now they're just doing whatever they want. And when a person has the power to do whatever they want and they do stuff like this, they're telling you, I am not good. I'm ineffective when it comes to leadership because I'm just going to do what I want. They're not even helping Republicans now because affordability not just messing with Democrats, it's everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Correct. And so, looking at seats here, Fabian Basabe's seat on the beach, that's a traditionally Democratic seat in Miami-Dade County. The seat in Brickell, where Vicky Lopez was, that's a traditionally Democratic seat. Both of those seats can flip. That's 2 extra seats going towards the Democratic Party so that the Republican Party supermajority can be broken. That's what we have to think about. So yes, this is a very safe blue seat.
Yeah. Not just our communities where we stay. You talking about other places.
Correct. And help the candidates over there because there's going to be a general election there. So we could shift and we could go knock on doors over there. We can do it. We can actually do it. Like the biggest voting block in Florida is apathy. It's non-voters.
I was just going to say, like, what was your thoughts on like the 2-party system and, a lot of people not being a part? Because that means that they can't even vote in like a primary.
In the primary, correct. And so if people want a certain candidate in the primary, then they have to register. Until we get to a position where we have the numbers in the legislature to have an open primary, we have a closed primary. So all of this virtue signaling with I'm just not going to do this, it's not helpful to get to where you saying you want to go. Now, if it's something that is totally against what you ever want to do, okay, I'm not going to argue with you on that point. But the fact of the matter is, it can be possible. Now, the second thing is these Democrats, which I am a part of, can't be same thing with a different color.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the reality, because I tell them all the time, y'all over here, y'all ain't addressing this racism in our party. Because when we are in meetings with electeds, as vocal as I am right now, I'm vocal there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, white Democrats could be just as racist as a Republican.
Yeah.
So don't think that just because you're a Democrat that I somehow excuse you and think you can't be racist.
Yeah.
This country is founded off of racism. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and address that. And if y'all think I'm not going to say nothing, I am. And if y'all think ignoring it is going to endear the black vote to Democrats, y'all got another thing coming too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is a frustrating position to be in sometimes, because I'm like, I hear you, I understand, but at the same time, I still need you to participate.
Yeah, you got, and as what was told to me, sometimes you got to play the game.
Correct.
We had Stephen Hunter Johnson here on the first episode, and we was talking about that. Like, some people don't want to play the game, and he was like, we must play the game. We got to play it from the inside to get what we want.
Correct.
You know? And you know, I you know, a lot of my people, they don't want to play that game.
Well, I mean, then don't complain. Don't sit here and say this and that. You're part of the reason why it's staying like that. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. Like, don't say, oh, well, what you doing? Da-da-da-da. When did you last vote? Mm-hmm. Did you actually vote for me? Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't want to be like that, but it's like frustrating. I'm yelling. I'm fighting. I'm experiencing all types of like aggression, all of this stuff in Tallahassee, where it's just, you know how you feel energy when you walk in a room. Mm-hmm. It's all this chaotic, aggressive, like bad energy in Tallahassee all the time. And I'm navigating through it. I'm not finna have these same fights when I come home. I'm just not. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hoop and holler and all this, I'm gonna let you, but I'm not gonna give you my time. Like, I had like this one lady, she was like hollering at me. I said, I am not yelling at you. So I need you to lower your voice or we will not talk. And she was just like, oh no, no, I don't know. Because right now I feel like you're disrespecting me. Mm-hmm.
They put you on that pedestal.
I'm like, are you trying to check me or something? Just talk to me, lady. Yeah. I want to know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if you angry, why you think I'm not?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm in there fighting.
Yeah. And
if my fight doesn't look like how you say it should look, then why don't you join me?
Yeah. So
both of us can.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because once I'm done, I'm done. Yeah. I ain't coming back and over. I'm not doing that. Hell no, okay? But like, it's possible. Mm-hmm. Like different ideas are needed, but don't sit here and just complain. Yeah. When I was online, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
I was just gonna say.
When I was online, you know what my profile said? If you don't have a solution to the problem, keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. And that's what I live by. So I ain't finna be complaining. I'm going to say this is how I'm going to do it, which is how I got into this anyway, because I said I'm going to do something instead of just yapping. Yapping, yeah. Because it's enough.
I feel that. You know, that's why like I created this show. You know what I'm saying? Because I just was like, people need to understand. I ain't here for like the drama and all the messy shit. Like, we need to be able to have honest conversations about what's going on. And like, I enjoy listening to your perspective on like the succession planning, right? Because I feel like you said, like, it's two ways to look at it, right? We can look at it and say, oh, this is a circus. Like, we've been looking at it because like, that's the way I've been looking at it. Or we do have a lot of people. We can do this. You know what I'm saying? We can take this, like, and I think some people got to let go. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the old guard, the invisible old guard we always talk about, they got to start letting go and letting some of these younger candidates run. And like, I hate that, you know, for one candidate in particular, they keep saying it's not his time yet. It's not. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, did y'all put your hand around him? I hate that we have to have this friction, like, going back and forth. Like, and I understand, like, everybody's not going to agree. Black people are not always on the same side. But and I don't think that an automatic endorsement should mean we all vote, but like, I think of it as a situation like, I don't know if you're familiar with Charles Hadley, and when Charles Hadley had the one big vote. When
No, I'm actually not.
Yeah, so Charles Hadley, of course, you know, Hadley, Portis, they big family. So they had this thing back in the day called the one big vote. And basically black people were more, how you say, in particular districts especially, would be in a lot of like close-knit places. So like it was like phone banking the whole night. It was an outside thing where the community, this is who we gonna vote for.
Yeah, it's that concentrate. It's that intentional, powerful one vote. Yes.
So
yes.
Maurice Ferre, that ran and he was the city of Miami mayor. That's how he got elected over. I want to say that was Suarez, or no, it wasn't Suarez. Carollo, I believe it was. That's how he got elected over him. Claude Pepper, Pepper Park. He got elected because of that. Gwen Cherry.
And Joseph Caleb was her one of her campaign managers.
You get what I'm saying? But that all happened because, not solely because of Charles Hadley, but as a community.
That concept.
The concept that you were talking about earlier is that from an outside entity, and I think people like, I don't know if you're familiar with Maya Passmore.
Yeah, we went to college together.
Yeah, because you in the UF. Okay, cool. So yeah, Maya is another one of the people from the outside. It's like, no, these are the things that I think need to be done. It don't need to be the representatives of themselves making a decision, because that's what's been happening for so long.
And Maya is brilliant, and she's correct.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I say, like, what are you doing? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody is not going to run for office. But how can we create this, and this is a concept, and I probably shouldn't say it because I ain't get it trademarked yet, but how can we get this Black Miami Renaissance together with millennials and Gen Z to reclaim and like to state to Miami, there are Black people here? Because every time I'm somewhere, I'm like, I'm a Black Miamian. Because y'all want to forget us out of the narrative of Miami.
I see it on threads all the time.
I hate it.
I moved to Miami, and there's no, I don't find no Black people in those Black spaces. I'm like,
I hate it.
Y'all stay the fuck out of downtown.
I hate it.
Why the fuck is y'all in Brickell?
I hate
Come
it.
to the city, my nigga.
I hate it.
Come to Overtown.
I hate it.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Where the fuck y'all be at?
And what I keep telling people is, it's a lot of Black Miamians that are invested in making sure that Black political power is what it is. But we do have to change the guard. Because one of the things that people said about me, oh, she didn't do this or do. I'm like, I ain't kissing no ring. I'm not. Why? Show me why. You know, and I know what deference is, so I believe in deference. But I'm not finna just sit and listen to somebody just cause. Yeah. Like, I had somebody try to tell me when I first got elected, you need to do this. No, I don't. Who are you? I don't remember you knocking on no doors with me. Why you think you could tell me what to do now? Yeah. And it's just like, it's certain people that have this idea of themselves that it's just way more grandiose than it actually is in reality. And so I'm not good at navigating that. Cause like I'm not good at it. Cause I'm fighting this hard because some of y'all was grinning and cheesing in people's face and selling our communities for pennies. But you have the nerve to tell me what I'm doing. I am stopping a lot of stuff. So when I measure my success in Tallahassee, I measure it by the amount of bills I've killed. And I've killed a whole lot of them. With my questions, with my audacity, and with my courage. Because a lot of times when people saw me talking and people saw me doing it, it's like, oh yeah, actually you're talking a lot. I am legally creating a record so that this can be challenged, but I'm going to kill it first. I've killed a lot of bills that are detrimental to Black people.
Oh, so with that being said, let's talk about you killing bills, I guess, versus you bringing the money home.
I still brought money home. Yeah. I brought over $6 million home at this point, and I've been in the legislature for 4 years. And the process is, when we get it in the budget, Democrats overall gets a small, and I mean small percentage of the budget. Black Democrats got less than 1% of the budget.
I was just going to say that was less than 1%.
Yes,
because when Sheriff said we brought 18 million, I went and did the math. I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's less than 1%.
That's also part of the Republican supermajority. But if y'all think they're racist, they are.
Yeah, because to me, one of my biggest things is our communities are not invested in. For 62nd Street to look like this my whole entire life, our communities are not being invested in.
So that's not just on the state level, though.
Yeah.
That the investments don't just happen.
No, they don't just happen on the state level.
But that's appropriations.
Yeah.
Appropriations are requests from certain bodies. So an appropriation is an organization, a municipality, a governmental entity requesting that we sponsor something, and that the state, which acts, if it's a local match or a federal match, or if it's a private match, ask about that during this appropriation process. Now, I will say this. I did get punished with my budget with getting certain things in. And it was because I said stuff was racist. So this last term, they were like, when you call something racist or call somebody racist, that's beyond the pale. But it is what it is. And I knew that. Mm-hmm. And so I had to be very strategic on what I was going to call racist. Mm-hmm. And I was.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, because they try to punish you for that type of stuff.
They don't try, they do.
Yeah, and then it's detrimental to us as a community, in a way.
That's the first part of it.
Yeah.
So we get it in the budget, right? Then it goes to the governor's veto desk. They pull black members' projects first to veto. So, baby, I could have been quiet the entire time and I would have still got something vetoed. Yeah. But would that silence have been worth it? Would those pennies that they're giving us have been worth it? And I don't think so. I don't think creating a record to say this is illegal, this is unconstitutional, this is racist. I don't think I could have given up those opportunities to say what I needed to say and create forever in Florida's history, in the record of the legislature, that something was racist. Because 10, 15 years down the line, we're going to call it out as racist and it's going to be recognized as racist because the pendulum ain't going to swing.
Yeah.
So when it does, they won't be able to say I didn't know.
Yeah. So elaborate on that legal record.
So
and how that whole thing works.
So in the last few years, the courts have been literally quoting the legislative record. So when we are in committee speaking, when we are on the floor speaking, what we say is either used for us or against us. Mm-hmm. And so as an attorney, I know how to ask questions to get certain things out about a bill. And then I know how to debate so that the legislative record is unambiguous, meaning when the court looks at the plain language of the statute, when it reads it how it reads plainly to any person, that the interpretation that the government, so the Republican governor and all that stuff is arguing, cannot legitimately be interpreted from that. And the legislative record proves that, because those questions to show that this ambiguity, this overbroadness, this whatever
in the language is non-existent.
Well, no, it does exist to make it unconstitutional, because I've created the legislative record that says we asked about if it's overbroad, can this happen? And then they all said, well, it's not overbroad, or it's this, whatever. So because we know that the courts are looking at the record now, we're very strategic with that. And so me, along with the other lawyers in our caucus, would be tasked with doing certain things when we know it's bills that will specifically end up in litigation.
It just seemed like well, I ain't gonna say it seemed like, because I know it's a lot of work just being a rep. But I think people don't understand that part of it. Those little intricacies about, like, is it important? Is it super important? Because I've heard this too. Is it super important for you to, like, be a legal representative or understand the law to be in public, like be a rep?
No,
or like
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary?
No. But it's more important to have courage. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could read it. Like, just read the bills. People don't be reading. Yeah. I literally read my bills. I'm like, I think it's a disservice for me to vote on something that I haven't at least taken a look at. Can I read all hundreds and hundreds of them? No, but I do my very best to read majority of them. Like, I have big binders that my staff have for me, and I have it, and I'm like writing in notes because I'm like, I ain't up here for no vacation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my job,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do it effectively.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been able to kill bills, and that's also how I've been able to earn respect.
As soon as you said that, I just thought of Quentin Tarantino. I'm gonna do the
Kill Bill.
Kill
Yes.
Bill.
I like that.
Usually,
I need to do like a little Quentin Tarantino thing.
yeah. You need to do it. You know what I'm saying? So how do you necessarily? Well, and we'll wrap this up after this because I know you got some things you got to do. But how do you necessarily kill a bill? And I know it's a group effort, but take us through that.
Okay, so there was this Confederate monument bill, right? And the Republicans kept saying, it's not about Confederacy. It's not about Confederacy. I was like, really? So I said, all right. I told my committee, I said, y'all, let me start the questions off on this. My the ranking Democrat was Michelle Rayner, my law partner, my girl, okay? And my roommate. She's out in St. Pete, Tampa area. So if you know anybody in St. Pete and Tampa area, tell them to vote for Michelle Rayner for Senate District 62. So, she was like, Ashley got it. So she tells the chair of the committee, Ashley gonna start us off with questions. So he's like, oh. So I figured out a way to ask him a question in a certain way where he has to say it's about the Confederates, or he has to deny the purpose of the bill completely. I know that member is racist as hell. So he is a son of the Confederate, right? So I can't remember how I said the question. So I start off like, okay, well, my first question is such and such and such and such. And then he was like, the chair was like, you're recognized. And he said, well, absolutely, the Confederacy, da-da-da-da. And so that was the first time in all the committees he said Confederates. So then I was like, bam, and my caucus is looking at me like, oh, shoot, he fell for it. I was like, oh, my God, because I'm thinking like he ain't going to fall for this. He fell for it. So then that opens the gate for me to say all these questions about the Confederacy, all these questions. And so the chair, when I start on my second question, he was like, this is not about the Confederacy. I said, he just said it was. And he was like, that bill died and didn't go nowhere. Because you want to know what? I exposed it because they kept saying it wasn't about that, it wasn't about that, it wasn't about that.
Then what was it about?
Exactly. So I was like, bet, I'm going to get him to say it. He was so dumb. And what I also enjoy is they be so pissed off at me because I ask questions that they give me the answers I need because they so pissed off. But also, I've said very cool and chill. And that was so much fun. And that bill did not get through. And when the people from the audience, like the audience members were, the public testimony part of it came up, all of them was talking about the Confederate monuments. We knew what it was about. Like, we knew.
Yeah.
I got him to say it. They corroborated it. So they killed the bill and it didn't go to the floor because that was the last committee it was in before it got to the floor. And if it would have got to the floor, Republicans was going to vote for it because it wasn't about Confederates.
Yeah, so we're going to have you come back. We're going to probably do a series, right, on civics.
I would love it.
Okay? Before a legislative session.
And I was a history teacher, so I taught government.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it needs to happen.
Okay.
Right? Because I think people need to know how this process works.
I'm ready. Because I can't.
So y'all heard it first. You're coming back to
I'm
us.
coming back. Let me get through this. Vote for me. And let me get through this. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get through this election.
I mean, it ain't an endorsement, but she is my rep, so.
Let me get through this election, and I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah, I don't endorse people because, I know people. But,
I ain't asked for your endorsement.
But I do support. Once you my representative, you see, I was like, you my rep now.
And I gave you my real number. I was like, just text me.
Yeah. And we be sitting up, sometimes we be sitting up there at certain meetings, like, I'm like, dog, she came in, like, with the fire. But it makes sense now, like, what is the day delegation that you came up, it didn't make sense to me until right now why you went up there asking certain questions. You know what I mean? And now it makes way more sense.
Cause like they think, oh sorry, I hit my microphone. They think that like one of the Republicans said this to me when I first got elected. He said, "Oh, I didn't know people like you lived in your community." I said, "Well, what do you mean? What does that mean? People like me? Like what?" Huh? Oh, no, no, I don't know. Please explain it to me. Tell me what that means. I'm like, sir, I'm gonna run circles around you. And I did. So I always remembered that. So when he had a bill up in front of me, I took that out my back pocket and I gave it back to him. And he was like, you just need to be quiet. Why? This is my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, it's a lot of sexism up there. It's a good old boys club.
Yeah.
So, like, that's also a factor.
I know they be.
They be mad.
they be going Super Saiyan mode up there.
Like, and then sometimes, it's a weird endearment. Like, they just like me. I had one say, "I'm not supposed to like you, but like you're just so cute." I'm like, kittens and puppies are cute. I'm a grown woman. I'm beautiful. So if you want to give me a compliment, you tell me I'm beautiful. Okay?
Damn AKAs.
I know that's right.
Damn AKAs.
But you got to deal with them like that.
Yeah.
You got listen.
You got to throw it back at
or
them.
they going to try you.
Yeah.
Because they like toddlers.
Yeah.
They throw one thing down to see what you're going to say. Then they're going to throw the whole thing down. No, I'm going to nip it in the bud at the beginning. Don't play with me. I'm your colleague.
Yeah.
And you got a wife. And if you don't have a wife, that's not my problem. Because I would never be it.
Oh, man.
It's
what are we going to do with you, man?
I'm telling you, like, the stuff that you have to deal with if you allow in that type of space them to, like, think they could say whatever to you, they will say whatever to you.
Yeah.
And I don't play that.
Yeah.
I got 3 older brothers. I grew up as a tomboy. So I might be
fighting.
Yeah.
I see you in the weight room. I see the
listen.
Right there, you throwing hands or what?
No, I don't throw hands unless somebody hits me first. Then it's self-defense. But
lawyer talk.
My mouth is lethal. I get paid to talk.
Yeah.
So, I love words, and that's what I deal with. I deal in words up there and relationships too. So it's not all like fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
I get to know people because there was a time where a person could be Republican and a person could be Democrat, and that's just it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is extremely polarized now. So I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I give them the opportunity to show me who they are. And when they show me who they are, I believe them. And so, I start off with, you're going to get the Ashley that's me. I'm going to first give you me, right? I'm going to interact with you how I want to. And then when you show me and teach me how to interact with you, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, I give people the Ashley that they earn.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to put it.
I believe wholeheartedly in that in my professional space. So, but I'm coming back for the civics series.
All right, so I'm going to give you this one last pitch. This is your camera.
Okay.
Give you this one last pitch to tell people that, in closing, why they should vote for you and what you intend to get done while you're up there.
So, I am asking for your trust again on the ballot, but this time as Senator for Senate District 34, so that I can continue the work and advocacy for our community that was started by Senator Jones. But not only that, I will bring my expertise as an attorney and a former educator to this advocacy and fight, and also to building relationships. My goal is to empower our next generation of leaders, to ensure our elders that they are leaving our community in good hands, and to also educate our community about what this process looks like, the real political power of Black people in Miami, and to solidify our political power, our economic power in Miami, so that our legacies don't have to leave the place that we grew up in. our children could be here, could be comfortable, and they could be educated and knowing who they are, where they're from, and they can also be confident in making sure they continue the legacy and don't have to leave Miami to do so. So I would love and appreciate your support in the form of a vote. The deadline to register to vote is July 20th. And if you haven't voted in a while, the miamidade.gov website has a public notice that has all the lists of inactive voters that will be purged off the voter list. And if you do not respond, there is a list right now that the deadline is July 27th, and then there'll be another list in August. If you do not respond, you will not be able to partake in the August primary. And so if you or anybody you know has not voted in a while, go look that up. Thank you.
So you heard it here first. Ashley Gantt, Senate District 34. This is not an endorsement, but it's for you to choose. I don't know who else is running. I'm just being honest. I'm still trying to figure that out. Who you running against?
Some other people.
Okay, well, I don't know who they are. This is not an endorsement, but you heard it from our rep. She's been here. She's been putting in the work, and I appreciate you for coming through.
Of course.
You know
I'm so excited. And I just want to say this. I've been watching these. I'm like, oh, they are so cool. And then when you asked me to be on it, I was like, ah.
Yeah. I was like, no, because I really want to educate. Like, I'm not here for the drama. Like,
right.
I'm really not. Like, anybody who knows me, even from when I had my other podcast, and I, Trapping Ain't Dead with Janae, it was never about, like, the drama. It was always about, like, we're going to make, like, talking about what's going on in our community entertaining.
Yeah.
But we want to give you the information and the gems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's so many things I learned in this interview that I know other people ain't know.
Yeah.
And I consider myself to be actively involved, engaged at all the meetings.
Yeah.
And it's certain things I don't know about this process. You know what I'm saying? That I know that you probably learned your first year there. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for coming. I really do.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we got to do this again.
I feel so honored. I'm definitely coming back. I like the civic. I'm coming back. You have my word.
All right. So we gonna put some stuff together. I'm gonna figure this all out, and we're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We out. See y'all.
Yay!
Got it done.